Hey guys, I made a video about investing in the stock market where I touched on this subject. You made the money, just spend it. You got money, you got a job, just spend the money on yourself. Scrimping and saving your pennies to maybe become like a low-level millionaire someday. Use your money to enjoy your life. Buy, 2 energy drinks every morning. Invest into a gym membership and all the protein foods that you need to get buff. Trust me, guys, I'm a billionaire today, but how I spent most of my 20s was barely getting by. I was barely getting by. Let's see if I can make this a good video. So, yeah, I mean, you don't really know what you got there. If you're making like 60,000 a year or 50,000 a year, you have like a shitload of money compared to how I spent my entire 20s. You could afford anything. You could afford the high protein foods. You could afford to eat steak every single day. You could afford a couple hours in the gym every single day. Think about Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman was an 8-time Mr. Olympia. He worked a full-time job and was the best bodybuilder in the world. So there's no excuse. If you work a job, if that's your path in life, if you work a job, if that's your path in life, there's no use in trying to invest your fucking pennies so that you could spend the last 10 or 15 years of your life with a little bit more money. You want to really use that money to enjoy your life while it's here, because anything could really happen. What if before you die, if you get sick and you have to spend all your money on medical bills? Think about that before you save your fucking pennies to invest into the stock market and stuff. Investing into the stock market is a good idea for me. If I invest 500 million into the S&P 500, that will give me $10,000 a day to do whatever the fuck I want with. You know where you want to go. This is just advice. If I were you, I would be spending that money. This is how I would spend my money if I made $50,000 a year. I would buy 2 of these every single morning, the low carb monsters. I would eat steak for dinner, steak and eggs for breakfast. I love steak, I probably would smoke 2 packs of cigarettes every day. I would own my house. My house would be fixed up with all the amenities. I would eat all the best shit and drink all the best shit. When I go to buy a beer from the gas station, I'm buying like the good shit, like Red's Apple Ales, not like, the dollar tall boy beer. Guys, this is so serious because people are making a big mistake. You don't want to be the motherfucker that you get to enjoy the last 10 years of your life with all the money that you saved up. And then, like I said, let me drill this into your brain. What if you get sick before you die and you have to give everything up? My grandfather had cancer, and he almost had to sell his house to afford chemotherapy. I've seen it happen a lot where people pay off their house and then that last 10 years before they die, they spend in a nursing home and they have to give up their house so their kids don't even get anything when they die. If you're into creating a generational legacy, you know, probably you should build a business or start a trust fund for your kids. Other than that, you know, it's a hard world. You know, I don't have really any advice. Give the money to your kids while they're alive. That's a great alternative. Give the money to your kids while they're alive. And before you die, when you hit the age of 70, just start giving shit away. That's what I'm gonna do. When I hit retirement age, I'm gonna give most of my shit away to my kids and my family and my grandkids. I'm just gonna start giving shit away so that if I get sick or if something fucking happens where, for whatever reason, if my legacy will carry on. You know, that's my goal. But that only really works if you can outspend the medical bills and still have a lot of money left over. The medical, the healthcare industry is pretty brutal in America. You know, I used to live in a nursing home. For like a year, I lived in a nursing home. The healthcare system is pretty brutal. They'll take your house, they'll take your assets, they'll take all your money. And I've seen it happen 100 times. You know, the people that I knew that had their houses paid off and stuff. The people that I knew in that nursing home, you know, a lot of them had their houses taken from them so that they could afford to live in a nursing home. It's fucked up. It's sad, but that's the way it is right now. I don't agree with it. And best thing you can do if you want to create a legacy is to build a business. Other than that, forget about saving your fucking pennies so that you can live the last few years of your life rich. You know, you should be, you know, if you want to create a generational legacy, you should be giving money to your kids while they're alive and your grandkids. You know, look at who's the bottom line of your family name and give them money and say, you know, hey, why don't you buy like a lawnmower? You could start cutting grass and you could start a small business or whatever it might be. Encourage your kids and grandkids to be more entrepreneurial. That's one thing I look for when I'm looking to hire people into my company, is like people that understand what it's like to be a business owner. Something great for your resume. Even if you just took like a business class in college, that's a great way to get on the top of the list of people that I want to hire into my company. Is people who understand what it's like to own businesses at the top level. I'm just so excited, guys. I officially became a billionaire yesterday. I almost can't even believe it. I thought it would be this big like rocket, this big like pocket of excitement bubbling up inside of me, but it's kind of rather like another day in the life. I'm just gonna bask in this moment for a second I'm just gonna bask in this moment and show gratitude. You know, thank you, Lord. Thank you guys watching my videos. And thanks to me for going through all the shit that I had to go through to get here. It's been a hard life, but that's my protocol for working class people that don't try to invest the little money that you do have. You know, do what you want, but spend your money on probably bodybuilding. You know, every man and every woman wants to be in tip-top shape, right? To build a great body is not fucking cheap, guys. All these pre-workouts and protein powders and weight gain shakes and casein protein and glutamine and creatine, all this shit adds up, guys, to the point where it's like expensive as fuck. Just to take like protein every day is like $4 a day. And that's what I would do. I would invest my life into the gym so that I could show out on Instagram with like the best body. If you guys, I do work out like every day or every other day, but I haven't worked out for the past like 2 weeks because my joints are sore from working out every day for like 3 months. But that's the protocol, guys, is you have to think like, if you invest everything that you have for like 30 years, it might be an extra like few $100,000. You might have like an extra like $1,500 a month to, or not even that. You might have like an extra like, you know, $1,000 a month to play with when you're 70. You know, you really want to enjoy your money while it's here, because anything could happen, and you could die at the age of like 50. You know, and the healthcare system in the United States is not geared for your 100% benefit. You know, they understand, the people that own the hospitals understand that when you're 70 and when you're dying, that's the most money you've ever had before in your life, and you pretty much, most people will have a lot of money by the time they're 70. So they charge you for like crazy procedures and stuff when you're like 70, to the point where you could spend all your money on crazy medical procedures and wind up dead with nothing. I've seen it happen. I have friends back in the nursing home where I used to live that were like 70 or 80. They had to give up their house. They had to give up their assets and whatever else they had. And it's bullshit. But it's the way it goes, so you gotta play the game. I just wanna make you guys aware of that the healthcare system, when you're sick and dying, is designed to basically get as much money from you as possible. Just like how tobacco is designed to keep you coming back. We live in the shadow of old business that was done 100 years ago, where whatever it was, you know, people, you know, were not always held accountable for how they treated their customers. We're moving into a new era, and I promote and push a new era of business where it's a lot more ethical. You know, I don't have anything to hide over here. When you buy something from me, you know you're getting the best fucking shit. And that's it.